Yo, it's Floyd here. You can find me on IG as M.AD.season. And the brand that we're reviewing today is More Adventures, and this is Sticks.
What is fashion to you?
What is fashion to me? Fashion is, it's an expression. Honestly, like it's just like art, just like anything. I don't think anybody could specifically tell you what fashion actually is to me. I mean, I play pretty close to my roots. I grew up in California, skating. So all my swagger, all my style came from, you know, just being a skate rat and being around Pharmacy Board Shop in Palmdale, California, in Lancaster, like, you know. So I guess to me, fashion is just what it is. Like, it's just an expression at the end of the day.
Can you tell us the story behind your brand?
Yeah, so pretty much when I decided to start More Adventures, I guess it stemmed from, I have a background in music, so I got tired of paying people for cover arts, for things like that. I did one of my first cover arts. Cover art ended up changing into a shirt design. I sold a lot more shirts than I thought I could for my first ever merch drop. And I thought to myself, this could be something. So More Adventures was born a couple years later.
Can you tell us about your brand name? What does it mean?
More Adventures, just to scratch the surface, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, any little thing that you take up, any new adventure, any new venture, any new, hobby, any new thing that you do, it's okay. It doesn't matter how old you are to restart. You could start over. You could, it's another adventure. It's another portion in your life. You're just acquiring skills. So just never be scared to start over,
How did you create the logo? What is it?
The logo, so pretty much, I just went and I got a typeface that I thought was cool, distorted it, added my own flair to it, and then the M.AD logo is what came out of that, pretty much. And if you don't know me personally, then you see the little Sunny on the bottom of that, Sunny the sunflower. So that's pretty much it, really.
What was the world's first impression of your brand?
So for M.AD to drop, basically, I don't know what the actual first impression would have been, but the first time people got to see it in the flesh was February 4th at Epicurean Hotel. I did a pop-up shop, and I think it went absolutely bonkers. It was nuts, honestly, but the month leading up to that, I did a month of promotion. So you could have seen it in January, you could have seen it that day, but now, it's for the world to consume now.
What type of customer do you see wearing your brand?
Honestly, I think I'm like one of the hardest people to sell to. So I try to sell to myself. So, idealistically, I try to sell to people that are interested in, skateboarding, because that's how I grew up. I try to sell to people that are interested in hip hop, that are interested in fashion, that value quality over quantity. But at the end of the day, anybody that is willing and thinks my work is dope, that's who the target audience is.
Can you tell us about the creative process that inspires you?
So in terms of the creative process, I'm a very, very reflective person. If any of my personal friends see this, they know I kind of look within all the time. So I look deep within my past. For one, I look to movies. I look to, whether it's a writer, another fashion designer, whether it's nature, whether it's pop culture. I kind of just look, within and everywhere around me to draw inspiration. So.
Can you elaborate on the designs you brought with you?
Yeah, so I guess since this one's in the front, we'll start here. This is actually one of my favorite ones. This is the More Adventures tee. I actually call it the Omniverse tee. So basically when I was starting the brand, it kind of started off as more of a comic book. So that's why you got The Adventures of Deadleg and Sunny, episode 2, a tour of the Omniverse. I took that name into effect because I really wanted to leave myself open to do new designs and constantly have like a plethora of things to, reference. So this big mushroom right here kind of is like the gateway to all of that stuff. Shout out to all my trippy people out there. But yeah, this is actually the first shirt that featured Deadleg and Sunny at the same time. So to people that have been following me already, I feel like this was definitely a special one. So let me shuffle this around real quick. So this is just the More Adventures tee right here. This one's really special because this typeface I completely curated myself, and I kind of took up drawing the same time I took up sewing, and I think a lot of people connect that do know about me, connect that with like just like the texture of the font itself. Like there's a lot of patchwork involved, and there's a lot of pins. And yeah, like that, this is kind of like the texture of Sunny and Deadleg in their base form. So the format that I went for is kind of like a college style t-shirt. So if like you were to see like a, like a Notre Dame tee and a logo, I kind of just reiterated that format. And then I also did a really giant back hit of the M, representing more adventures, more life, more, more everything, you know what I'm saying? So love that one, a lot of meaning behind that. And then this is kind of a outlier design right here. This is a Beast of Prey, but again, this is one of those things where it's like the whole reason I even started this line was because I really like vintage style shirts. I love vintage-esque tees, so that's why, all of these things are gray. And this is kind of, Beast of Prey is just one of those things where it's like, it just reminds me of a shirt that I could find thrifting, but it's brand new. So, and again, it gives me a lot of content to work with because a Beast of Prey is just any animal that eats another animal. So I'm excited to like keep pushing this concept.
What fabric and materials did you use for these designs?
So really proud about this one. This one, all of these shirts are 100% organic US cotton. So these are sustainably sourced. These are 100% made in America. Can't go on and on about it enough about, the sustainability factor, because that's one of the biggest problems we got here. But yeah, man, so organic cotton made in the US, so.
Any trims or accents we should be aware of?
So there's no really like trims or accents, I guess. Like one of the main things, which in my opinion is pretty standard, but we do got the the woven tags in here, the size labels, all of those sewn in personally by myself. So, but the other, I guess, unique aspect about the shirts in general would probably be that all three of these designs are 12 color screen print designs. We're not doing direct to garment. I'm not cutting costs. I'm not going around no corners. 12 color designs. So I guess in theory, the More Adventures shirt is 24 colors because that's front and back with it. And I definitely pride myself on, I think screen print is a dying culture. So for me to be able to, you know, keep that going, no matter how many colors is involved, I think screen print is just the way to go, especially if you're going for a vintage-esque like I am, so. Yeah, the layout is just kind of like just the format, like, you mean like how this shirt has, you know, it's 6 inches from the collar, and this one is more standard, where it's about, you know, 3.5 to 2 inches from the top of the collar, just layout in general. Sometimes people don't, you know those types of things, so. In terms of layout, really depends on the design, but if you know, I mean, a standard layout, I think is like 8x16, whenever you got the canvas in front of you. This one was done with a square, but these two other ones follow kind of like the standard layout design. But I think in terms of layout, what people need to understand, they don't need to reinvent the wheel too much, because if your design speaks for itself, then you don't have to like come up with a groundbreaking shirt layout. Like, you know, just make dope designs. I don't know what else to say.
How would you incorporate these designs into an outfit?
So I work really hard on the lookbook that I designed for this brand. So I would say one of the best answers is to go look at the lookbook, but definitely I think people can wear it anywhere they want to, obviously, but the way I intended it is so that, you know, you could wear it as streetwear, but you could also mix it with high fashion. So I'm talking dress pants, tuck it in, have your nice, you know, your nice belt, whether it be designer or not. And you know, I like when people like got the little white collars underneath the shirts. That's one of the looks that was on the Instagram page and in the lookbook. Kind of mixing grunge with preppy, and kind of just putting your own flair to it, honestly. So.
How has starting your brand affected your life?
So I currently am in school, so I work full time, I go to school full time, and I try to give as much effort to this as possible. So honestly, bro, it just has made me just not have any personal time. I'm just really workhorsing it right now, but I guess that's what everybody at this age should be doing, is trying to, you know, build something up from the ground. For me, I guess it just makes me happy. It makes me happy to create. I know for a fact that no matter where I end up in life, I will definitely be in some form or fashion or way creating something. So this is just one of those things where I could combine so many different disciplines that I've built up over all these years. And it's beautiful, like from photography to videography to art to, you know, using my skills in advertising to just wrap it all nice and neat up in a bow. I can't put I don't know, it's just what I do it for. It's dope.
What change did you have to make personally to see your brand succeed?
A change that I had to make personally, I guess for me, since I focus on a lot of different things at the same exact time, I had to kind of like hone in on one thing, which is hard for me, being like a multidisciplinary kind of guy. I just had to like stop doing this, stop doing that, laser beam focus on one thing. And at that point, it was pretty easy of a change, because I know how to manage my time pretty well.
Has there ever been a time where you felt like giving up on your brand?
Well, seeing out as it's like April 11th and I just started the brand February 4th, no. But in a macro sense, in terms of like me being a brand, yeah, I mean, I guess plenty of times throughout the years, I've been like, you know, you teeter-totter on things. It's hard to build stuff up from the ground And sometimes you always think like, should I have just chose the money route, the easy money route? Not to say that it's easy, but the paved route.
What is your number one problem with the clothing brand industry and getting your products to customers?
Number one problem with the clothing brand industry and getting my products to customers. I feel like that's a two-part question. So I'll answer the first part first. My number one problem with the clothing industry would probably just be it's oversaturated for sure. Oversaturation is a big issue, but at the same time, it's kind of not. Like, and anything that you want to do, there's going to be a lot of people fighting for it. I guess if I had a real issue with the clothing brand industry, it would just be originality. I don't think people. I feel like people do it for a cash grab more than they do it for the actual culture or like pushing the culture forward. Like, I strongly believe in being like a student of the craft, figure out where the industry is needing and take it further rather than just being another voice and contributing to the noise. In terms of like getting my stuff out to people, I think the internet piece is probably the one thing that I'm gonna continue to focus on in the future, because in person, I never really have issues selling my clothes. But I think the main issue is like you have to meet me first, I guess. So I think that's the weirdest part about it.
How do you see fast fashion affecting the world?
So fast fashion is basically the devil. It's the worst thing that could ever happen to society. People buy clothing for $5 and throw it away 100 times over the course of a year. And then, it's not sustainable, one, because people are not getting paid what they should be getting paid to do the clothing. Now, since the clothing is so cheap, you don't care about it, so you're throwing it away. It's not anything that you would give to your descendant. It's not anything that you would give to anybody. You'd rather throw it away than give it away. So fast fashion is literally just garbage. And I think it's the worst thing ever. And I think to combat that, what you need to do is make high quality garments. And I don't think it's really a factor of overcharging, as long as you go ahead and make sure you put in that quality work into the garments and not, just being greedy for a cash grab. But I can't sit here and tell you how to maneuver, the clothing industry, but you could tell who's really in it for, to progress the culture and who's in it just because it's cool or just because it's money involved or whatever the case may be. Everybody has their different things, but making pieces that you'd be happy to give to your son, to your daughter, to your little cousin, to anybody else, rather than throw it away. That's what we're in it for. That's what you want to do. I got pieces from 8th grade still, and I give them away. I don't throw them away. And me growing up like that, that's the type of clothing brand I want to put forward. So we're gonna end fast fashion that way right there.
What was the highest point so far behind your brand?
Drop day. I definitely strategically funneled every single thing through that drop, and I'm so happy I, waited as long as I did. Drop day was crazy. You should definitely go look it up if you haven't seen it yet. It's moreventures.store. You can see it on M.AD.scn on Instagram. Drop day was fun. I did an event where it was completely all the art, the furniture, the brand. I made a drink. I made a beer, well, a seltzer to be, more precise, but drop day was crazy. It was fun.
If someone was in your shoes starting a brand, what advice would you give them?
The best thing I could tell anybody, again, is like reiterating myself, is be a student of the game and make sure you're starting it for the right reasons. If you're starting it to be cool or fit in or, ride trends or, honestly, even if you're starting it for a cash grab, go get your cash. But I only want to collaborate and be around people that actually love the art of making clothes. So originality is the only thing I could tell people to, keep in the forefront.
What would you tell someone that is looking to establish their own style?
I would tell somebody that's looking to establish their own style to just, look within. Because coming from where I'm coming from, you have the answer to everything that all the questions that you have in your head, the answer's already there, you just gotta uncover it.
What is your take on gatekeeping within the fashion industry?
I think it could be positive and negative. I think resources shouldn't be gatekeeped. I think sources for where you get your clothing and all that stuff, it's the rites of passage. You gotta kind of do your research. You can't just expect everyone to just give you all the answers. Resources, I definitely go ahead. I'll give you the resources, but as far as my shirts, don't ask me where I got them from.
Where have you received the most support from?
Friends, family. Support comes in all shapes and sizes, though. I never just minimize support down to a transaction, whether it's people that are sharing it, looking at it, giving me props. Any type of positivity coming my way is a form of support. So honestly, it comes from a lot of different places. I love it.
Any new pieces coming out soon?
New pieces. I can't wait for drop 2. I'm gonna be honest, there's not gonna be an entire, pop-up event, solo event for it. But yes, drop 2 is coming and it's gonna be dope.
How do you plan to take your brand to the next level?
Kind of like keeping my head down and doing exactly what I'm doing. I think I'm already kind of setting myself apart by just extremely high quality photos, extremely high quality clothing, extremely high quality concepts. Just keep the pressure on. That's all I gotta do.
What do you want people to remember about your brand?
There's one thing I want somebody to remember about my brand. It's when you put it on, I want you to know that it is the greatest shirt, sweater, pair of pants that you ever put on. And I want you to talk about that. That's really all I care about. It's quality, baby.
What can the world expect from your brand going forward?
I feel like the world could expect me to just continue to expand on these concepts that I have and just make them bigger, make them better. The higher I go up, the more gets trickled down into the brand and the higher quality I could give out. So just up and up, it's up and up.
Where can people find and purchase More Adventures?
So More Adventures, you can find it at moreadventures.store on Instagram. Check out directly through Instagram, Facebook, or you could go to moreadventures.store on the internet. So everything should be nice, clean, and easy. And if you know me personally, M.AD.scn. All the links are there as well.